she was receiving from ICICI Bank. Now, the salary that Madhabi Puri Buch was receiving prior to her retirement after her superannuation was about 1.3 crores. That salary as a retiral benefit became about 2.7 crores per annum. A major salary there, and of course the Congress party right now as a leader of the opposition saying that both the frequency of the payment as well as the money that she was receiving was not quite in line with the services that she had rendered.
Yeah, from what we can make out is, one is ICICI has not put out the exact amounts which were paid to Madhabi Puri Buch. Secondly, the Congress party is not disclosing as to from where they got these amounts. So what is the source of the amounts that they are disclosing? So both don't seem to be adding up, and there could be a gap between both.
Okay, right. But can your, in your assessment, can a retiral benefit exceed the salary that one person is drawing when they're still employed?
See, if it's the nature of ESOPs, for example, if this one, sometimes definitely that happens. There are people who actually, senior executives in Mumbai and elsewhere, in Bangalore, for example, who draw huge ESOPs, and when they vest and when there are even thousands of crores, of hundreds of crores of ESOPs which are vested, right? So one needs to see what was obviously being at a CXO level at ICICI. She would have likely got a number of ESOPs which could have vested, and one needs to know the exact nature of those amounts which were paid out. Right, retirement benefits could be, for example, contribution by the employer and employee which had done earlier, which are paid out later, etc. So there are deferred payments, there are deferred bonuses which are paid, etc., etc. So the nature of those payments and exact amounts, if they one could zero in on, that would be better. So if Congress, for example, had the details, they should have just disclosed it. I mean, if the onus is on, I would think just shoot and scoot.
Yeah, but there is a statement coming out, Mr. Subramaniam, from ICICI Bank. Which bank has clarified that it did not pay Buch any salary or grant her any ESOPs after her retirement. So perhaps these were the ESOPs given to her when she was still working at ICICI Bank?
Yeah. So that's what, I mean, no company gives ESOPs after somebody has left the company, but definitely there is a vesting period beyond what you leave. Suppose you have already been granted ESOPs, there's a vesting period, and there's an exercise period beyond the vesting period. And these could be vested options at the end of her tenure with ICICI, and then they are exercised at later dates. I mean, so companies allow for exercising the ESOPs after leaving the company, right? I mean, because the ESOPs have been earned by you when you were with the company.
Right.
So just that the excise, because in India, excise leads to a capital gains. So to that extent, people can time their excise. It's like if suppose ICICI stock is supposed to go up, then you may not exercise. You can wait to exercise it at later years.
Okay, Mr. Subramaniam, and the most and the latest, in fact, and the most worrying of all the allegations that have surfaced is the letter that has been written by at least 500 A-grade officers from SEBI who are signatory of that letter, that says that there is a culture of fear and intimidation at SEBI at a time when Madhabi Puri Buch is in a senior leadership position. Does this merit a further investigation? That's number one. And all in all, with all these allegations now surfacing, do you believe Madhabi Puri Buch should resign?
Well, these are all unconnected. One doesn't know. I mean, I have not seen the letter, frankly. So to that extent, I don't know when it is dated. Secondly, if the letter is true, then definitely it's a different issue. Why did it surface now? Why didn't the letter surface 1 month before or 2 months before? Did employees suddenly realize it is today? And two is there is the grievance against the chairperson of any. This one is the board. There's a board of this one of SEBI. So to that extent, they should.
But Buch, being the leader of the board, she has a say in how employees are treated. She is responsible for the culture of the organization.
Yeah, but See, it's like there's a CEO of a company, and then whom do you go to? I mean, just that in this case, SEBI is a government organization, but in a company, for example, if it were a listed company, there's a CEO, you would go to the board, you would I would think, write to the board and then or in the public domain. Now this letter is in the public domain.
Okay.
So obviously, and timing is also again suspect, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
there could be a genuine angst of employees, but we are merging two issues here. There is one is proprietary, which is earnings from a private enterprise, from ICICI, etc., etc. Two is this toxic work culture, shouting or whatever it is, and name calling, etc. That is a different issue. And why are we merging both?
No, we're not merging anything, Mr. Subramaniam. Our point is that there are a series of recent controversies and allegations which are now surfacing, and I agree with you. Timing is a suspect. All of this happening within a month of Hindenburg report.
Yeah, so timing of this letter is a suspect. We don't know what is the date of the letter. And if anything, yes, I mean, if there is merit to it, the officers have to look into it. I mean, the finance ministry has to look into it. But again, finance ministry or anybody, if the letter falls at your doorstep, for example, what would you do? I mean, because you cannot have a knee-jerk reaction to any allegation that comes up.
No,
right?
absolutely
because
not.
Right now, these are totally two different. This one, there is a need for a constitution of a committee within SEBI to look into these allegations. Okay, possibly this is more of a HR and this issue grievance. So they will need to constitute a committee of the board which will consider these allegations for the whatever merit it's worth it.
Okay, and if I were to ask you, what would your suggestion be to Madhabi Puri Buch? She definitely needs some PR right now, some good PR and some crisis management help. What would be your one suggestion to Madhabi Puri Buch right now?
No, I would think the finance ministry, along with the Madhabi Puri Buch, probably should put out a statement saying that these were her earnings over the past years when she was a whole-time member and now, and possibly clear that. Indian regulators still, be it not just SEBI, RBI or any other, IRTA or even CCI, etc., don't have a mechanism where the regulators, in that sense, individual put their shareholdings or other interests in a blind trust or disclose it in public domains, etc., assets and those kind of things. Okay. So that is the overarching, I would say, angle which is brought to the fore, and we as a country need to address that.
Right. All right. Sriram Subramaniam, thank you very much, sir, for taking time out, for joining us on that very important story. With that, it's time for a short break here. We'll be back in just a bit.
Not quite lived up to their pre-tournament billing, delivering a series of less than convincing performances. For 2 draws and a solitary win.
Your son will be Messi. No studies, just football all day. Go, my son, go. Make my face shine through playing football.
Not only your face, but also the country's. I will conquer the world by playing football. Come, let's go to Germany!
World's largest football talent hunt, News 9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses. In association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BBB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India.
Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of, polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry. And that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items. And that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one, but multiple very strong global brands coming out of India. And we will make a global market. I'm convinced about that.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Welcome back. You're watching In Your Interest. I'm Shweta Kothari. In a major sign of worry for car makers, G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant recently said that the country will continue 5% tax on electric cars and 48% whopping tax on hybrid cars for a long period of time. Now, Kant's statement comes even as car makers such as Maruti Suzuki India and Toyota have been asking for lowering of taxes on hybrid cars. Specifically, as India aims to become a carbon neutral country by 2070, automakers in the country are divided over the best path forward. One hand, giants like Maruti Suzuki, Toyota and Honda have been pushing for tax cuts on hybrids. On the other hand, car makers like Tata Motors, Hyundai, Kia and M&M have been insisting that only a full commitment to EVs can truly decarbonize India's road ahead. So what is the road ahead that one needs to take to when it comes to automotive space, especially the divide between hybrid cars as well as electric cars? Let's talk about that. Joining us on the show is Amar Jatin Sheth. He's the treasurer of FADA. Amar, I think first question first, if one were to buy a car today, the choices are very limited. One can either go for a proper hybrid, a full hybrid or an EV. For somebody who is, really sitting on the sidelines and waiting for more progress to happen as far as EVs is concerned, and we're hoping for more highways to be built EV friendly, would go for hybrid. But the tax rate at 48% makes it very difficult. From what we are hearing, that is likely to continue.
Yeah, I think that is what the recent conclusion is coming out to be, that the benefits that few states had provided is not for the full of the country. And I think as a long-term policy, the tax rates would on hybrids continue to be high. It's only the EVs that will get the benefit of the lower tax regime.
Okay, but isn't that against what many companies, including Maruti Suzuki and other, prominent companies have been demanding, that hybrid is the way forward? We cannot truly depend on electric vehicles until there is greater adoption. We should perhaps incentivize, if not semi-hybrid cars, then proper full hybrid vehicles. That demand continues and doesn't look like it will be met.
So I think the point where strong hybrids are, look forward to get maybe the bridging strategy till the time the EV happens. But if we look at currently, there are two manufacturers basically in this space, like you rightly mentioned, Toyota and Maruti. So they somehow don't have EV vehicles in the offering right now. And I don't think that is, they've shared their plans for the future on the full EVs too. So I guess the government is maybe trying to side or trying to incentivize the players that have actually invested in the EVs or are showing commitment to invest in the EV space. Because as per them, that is the true net zero or the carbon neutral regime that they wish to reach.
Okay, but Japanese companies specifically have been asking for the GST on hybrid vehicles to be brought down from 48%, well within the remit to where it will be all right for people to actually, and there's no greater price differential between an ICE engine vehicle versus a hybrid vehicle. And the reason so is that ICE engine clearly is not the vehicle of future, and if one were to make a choice, it looks like hybrid would be more preferred. In your assessment, having spoken to all the auto players out there and somebody who really assesses the numbers when it comes to sales figures and what automotive industry really needs and is demanding, what is the need for the future? What is the need for policy intervention right now when it comes to hybrid? Do you think there needs to be more thrust towards bringing the duties and cesses down on hybrid vehicles?
So I think we have seen sporadic measures in states where the registration benefits have been passed for strong hybrid vehicles. Probably in Uttar Pradesh, where there has been such a policy coming in. In certain states, they announced and then they took it back. But there is still certain amount of benefit given in a few states of the country. But that is more on the registration tax angle. And if your question on GST, I think the policymakers are also wanting the manufacturers to clearly announce their path forward. I think if you are finally going to move to the EVs, when are you going to do it? When are you planning to do it? The hybrid can be a bridging model, but if the thought is to move towards EV, then it is not. Of course, I think this comes with a disclaimer that we don't know, is EV the full final future? Will I still make a comeback, or will it be the hybrid? So it's only times are going to tell. But there, in my view, if I was in their place, I would probably give a benefit, but provided you show me your game plan on how you're going to move to the finalized move.
All right. So, quickly before I let you go, I know you mentioned that Uttar Pradesh government was the one of the first, obviously the state governments, to waive off about 8 to 10% registration tax on strong hybrid vehicles. So are we now only looking at state governments to do the needful in absence of any central policy intervention?
So the registration tax is a state subject. So that is why the state does it. If
Exactly.
it is the GST, of course, it is the central subject.
My question is, are we only therefore looking at some sort of state intervention for states specifically to take action on hybrid, if at all, because it looks like there will not be any central intervention?
Yeah, I guess if there is nothing from the center, then this is the only other component that is available to make a difference to the transaction price.
All right, Amir Jatin Sheikh, thank you very much for taking time out for joining us on that story.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
And with that, it's a wrap on the show. Thank you very much for watching.
Pass. We'll put new glasses in the windows and they keep breaking it. This is the fourth time. You are playing football throughout the day. Will you win the world by playing football?
Yes, uncle. I will now conquer the world by playing football. Let's go to Germany.
World's largest football talent hunt, News 9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses. In association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी.
Terrorism always flows like water. It will go in the direction where there is no obstacle.
Bloodbath in Jammu. 5 soldiers die after terrorists open fire at an army convoy in Kathua.
Pakistan essentially is doing is opening a new frontier in the Jammu region.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
In the heart of New York, an Indian spectacle unfolds. Step into the world of the elite saga. Featuring influential Indians who've rocked the globe. From culinary geniuses.
This has been nothing less than a dream.
To the wisdom of sages.
And which is why success can never be spelt without you.
Discover the stories behind the stars. Experience the magic behind the scenes. At the first Indian event at the Statue of Liberty. Watch the Elite Saga streaming only on News 9 Plus. Download now.
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए.
मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है और मैं तेरा रेप कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture, sex comes later. Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind light.
We have to reclaim the lost position. We fought for more than 10 years. Today I'm the mother of the industry. I'm a first transgender member judge.
You can't walk in everybody's shoes.
This is what I'm comfortable with. They just are what they are.
You become the light yourself.
That is the change that I was looking for.
When I recognize myself, it's a small story, but it's an interesting one.
PM Modi is the first ever Indian Prime Minister to visit Ukraine. His visit comes 2 years after around 17,000 Indian students were safely evacuated amidst the Russia-Ukraine war under his leadership. Watch Airlift, the story of how the evacuations unfolded, only on the News 9 Plus app.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
This was the kind of terrain that mountaineers basically climb on. You're talking of peaks of 15,000 and 16,000 feet. You have trouble breathing, the cold, the high altitude, the dizziness, the enemy staring at your face. And in some of those cases, the Pakistanis were not even expending ammunition. They were throwing rocks at Indian soldiers. That's how close it was.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Meha Bharadwaj Alter and this is Game On, where you get the top reports from the world of sports. We begin with what is turning out to be the most successful campaign at the Paralympics for India. The count is 21 today. India's medal count at the ongoing Paris Paralympic Games has reached 21 as world champion Sachin Sarjarao Khilari. He clinched a silver in men's shot put F46 event with an Asian record distance of 16.32 meters as the country's track and field athletes continued their unprecedented medal-winning run at the Games. A 34-year-old Khilari, he achieved his best throw of the day in his second attempt to better his own Asian record of 16.30 meters, which he set while winning gold in the World Para-Athletics Championships in Japan in May. However, the effort, which was also his personal best, was not enough for the top honor as Greg Stewart of Canada defended his Tokyo Paralympics gold with a throw of 16.38 meters. Luka Bakovic of Croatia took the bronze with 16.27 meters. And Khilari's silver is the 11th medal for para-athletics in the ongoing games. Yesterday, India's athletes scripted history in Paris by surpassing their highest medal tally of 19 in the Tokyo edition of the Paralympics 3 years ago. The Indian contingent added 20 medals to its constantly growing tally and will have an opportunity to further extend its record medal haul in a single edition of the Paralympics. If India had won 8 medals on Monday, they added 5 more on Tuesday to take the tally to 20, making this their most successful campaign at the Paralympics ever, and there are still 5 days left. We've already won 1 medal today as well, so the tally is 21. But on the day, on Wednesday, we won 1, but on Tuesday, 2 silver and 3 bronze medals were won after a late evening rush. Let's take a look at the medal winners. Sharat Kumar, he won a silver medal in the men's high jump T63 event. The 32-year-old soared to a height of 1.88 meters in the final, losing the gold medal to USA's Ezra Frech, who cleared 1.94 meters for a new Paralympic record. This was Sharat Kumar's second Paralympic medal. He won the bronze medal in Tokyo with a clearance of 1.83 meters. The high jump final had athletes from both the T63 and T42 category. Both classes have limb deficiencies in their legs, such as amputations or missing or shortened limbs from birth. Ajit Singh won the second silver of the day after he surprised everybody with his exceptional performance. There were 3 Indians in the fray. Rinku had won a silver at the World Championship. Sundar Singh Gujar was the world record holder, but it was a brilliant late charge by Ajit Singh, who was in the 3rd place in the early stages of the event. But it was in the 5th throw that he threw his personal best of 65.62 meters, which was enough to beat his fellow teammate Sundar Singh Gujar. Mariyappan Thangavelu, he won the bronze in the same high jump category as Sharat Kumar. It was a 2-3 finish for India as Thangavelu won the bronze, jumping a height of 1.85 meters. He also achieved the historic feat of becoming the first Indian parathlete to win medals at 3 consecutive games. He won the gold medal at Rio 2016 with a jump of 1.89 meters, a silver at Tokyo 2020 with a 1.86 meter attempt, and now he has won another medal. Mariyappan Thangavelu's life took a tragic turn at 5 when a bus ran over him in a road accident, leaving him permanently disabled in the right leg. This was also India's 4th double podium finish at the Paris 2024 Games. Move on to Sundar Singh Gujar. The day saw 2 podium finishes, with Sundar Singh Gujar finishing 3rd in the F46 javelin throw behind Ajit Singh. Sundar is the current world record holder, and he started strongly. He held the 2nd spot till the very end, but was overtaken by Ajit. It seemed like he was battling a niggle because he did wince and held his back in pain after the last throw. Sundar finished with 64.96 meters as his best throw, winning back-to-back bronze medals at the Paralympics. He'd won a bronze in Tokyo behind Devendra Jhajaria. The only Indian woman to have won on the day was Deepti Jivanji. Her medal was the first medal on Tuesday, as she won a bronze in the women's 400-meter T20 event. The 20-year-old went to Paralympics in Paris as the world champion and a world record holder in the women's 400-meter T20 event. Her world record was overtaken by Aysel Onder of Turkey in one of the heats. In the final, though, Deepti finished strong. She finished the final in 55.82 seconds. She had earlier won India's first gold medal at the World Athletics Para Championship in Kobe, Japan, in women's 400-meter T20 event. Now, Indian shuttlers signed off with 5 medals from Paris Paralympic Games, exceeding their count of 4 medals at the Tokyo Games 3 years ago. IIT graduate Nitesh Kumar, he led the way with a gold in men's singles SL3, while Tulassimati Murugesan and Manisha Ramadas have returned home with a silver and a bronze respectively. The trio spoke about their achievements, the journey and their future plans. Listen in.
अच्छी फीलिंग है, मैं वर्ड्स में बता नहीं सकता. मैं खुद वो चीज़ फील नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, बट मैं जब भी किसी इंडियन किसी टीममेट से मिल रहा हूँ और जो उनके चेहरे पे उनके इमोशंस में देख रहा हूँ, तब मुझे वो फील आ रही है बार बार. आई एम गेटिंग दैट गूज बम्स की आई हैव डन समथिंग वेरी ह्यूज फॉर द कंट्री. आई हैव लिव्ड दिस फीलिंग बिफोर ड्यूरिंग द एशियन पैरा गेम्स, बट Paralympic was very different, very huge. I didn't get tears in my eyes, but I had the goosebumps and current in the whole of my body. और मैं उस टाइम पे कुछ फील नहीं कर पा रहा था. I felt numb and it was just I got a flashback of all my journey from Tokyo till Paris, how it's been, how tiring the tournaments have been, how tiring the schedule has been, and what all things I have sacrificed for this, and then at the end everything felt worth, and I kind of had a flashback of my parents' image in my mind, where because just before the medal ceremony मैंने उनसे बात की थी, and then they had tears in their eyes, so वो it was a flashback of everything in a very small moment. Paralympics तक का I had my small goals, and then at the end the ultimate goal, so वो जीतने के achieve करने के बाद में now I just want to go back and enjoy before setting another goal for me.
I think it's not like kind of luck or something, because I have put a lot of hard work for this. I think I have gained for what I have done. I'm very happy and I feel so blessed. After the match, it was quite disappointing, the result was, but I feel like I didn't lose gold. I have won silver medal to our country, so that makes me so proud and happy. Para sports is like being getting known by everyone, I think so. So keep supporting us, encourage us. It feels like a dream come true moment, because participating in a Paralympic was my dream. So getting a silver medal, it's a very, very big thing. So yeah, it feels like celebrity thing.
I was excited and nervous as well. I had one of the toughest draw. I faced both the top players of world in my group stage, but I made it through. I have just cleared my draws, and I was really happy, and I gave my best in all the matches I played, and I'm coming back with a bronze. I'm very happy. I'm feeling quite good, and it's new for me in this moment, because I'm not that famous before, but now I'm getting recognition. It's a new feeling.
These are wonderful stories, inspiring stories really from these athletes. Now, India's para-badminton coach Gaurav Khanna, he's happy but not very satisfied, despite the fact that 5 medals at Paris are their best ever Paralympics haul for his team. Khanna said the aim was much higher and that they will chase that dream in Los Angeles now.
खुश हूँ ऑफ कोर्स, हालांकि टारगेट्स हमारे और ज़्यादा हाई थे, उस टारगेट को नहीं अचीव कर पाए, बट इन एनी केस हमने टोक्यो पैरालंपिक की मेडल टेरी जो कि 4 थी उसको क्रॉस करके हम लोग 5 मेडल जीते हैं इस बार. कंपटीशन लेवल बढ़ रहा है और सभी देश पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं और हर चीज़ इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा है, तो हमको 4 से 5 कर पाए, जबकि हमारा टारगेट का आंकड़ा काफ़ी ज़्यादा था. पर ये ज़रूर है कि इससे हमको ये प्रेरणा मिलती है और ये सोच मिलती है कि डेफिनेटली हम लोग फर्दर और वर्कआउट करेंगे और जो हमने तालिका इस बार अचीव करने की सोची थी उसको हम अगले ओलंपिक में हासिल करेंगे. आउटस्टैंडिंग खेला है नितेश. मैंने आई हैव सीन हिम स्टार्टिंग हिज जर्नी एज अ प्रोफेशनल पैराबैडमिंटन एथलीट एंड सिंस ही इज़ अ एम्प्यूटी, और एम्प्यूटी होने के बाद भी एक पैर में एक आर्टिफिशियल लेग को लगाना, उसको बैलेंस करना, उसके साथ लॉन्ग रैलीज करना और उस प्लेयर के साथ कम्पीट करना जिसके पास नेचुरल लेग्स हैं, इट्स डेफिनेटली अ वंडरफुल जॉब. और उसके बाद जो होम क्राउड था वो उनका था, जो ड्रिफ्ट का जो कंडीशंस थी वो उनके फेवर में थी, और बहुत सारी ऐसी कंडीशन थी जो बाद में हमारे लिए डिसएडवांटेज बन जाती. परंतु नितेश हैज़ प्लेड सो वेल. उसने इतना सिस्टमैटिक, इतना थॉट प्रोसेस, और जो कि प्लान्स जो पहले हुए थे, खेलने से पहले निर्धारित हुए थे कि हम उसको ऑन कोर्ट इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, नितेश हैज़ वेरी वेल एग्जीक्यूटेड ऑन कोर्ट.
All right, let's move on now. In our series of exclusive chats with the legends of cricket, we've already spoken to Chris Gayle, Brett Lee, Kevin Peterson. Today we have a Pakistan great. Yunus Khan is on the show. He is one of Pakistan's modern batting greats and a batter who shone in adversity. He's over 10,000 runs in tests, and it was under his captaincy that Pakistan won the T20 World Cup in 2009. He spoke to my colleague Nishit Malhotra, who began by asking him about the rise of T20 cricket and how loaded is it in the batter's favour. Listen in.
देखें, हमारे पास अगर दुनिया की बात करें तो अभी आपने देखा नहीं, जैसे बुमराह ने कैसे बॉलिंग की, उसके बाद नोकिया ने कैसे बॉलिंग की, उसके बाद तबरेज़ शमसी ने कैसे बॉलिंग की, उसके बाद कुलदीप यादव ने कैसे बॉलिंग की, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। उसके बाद अगर और शहनशाह अफरीदी की बात करें तो ऑन द डे अभी 2-3 साल पहले दुबई में जो उन्होंने आके आउट किए हैं, तो वहाँ ऐसा नहीं लगा कि ये बैट, तो ये मेरे ख्याल से ये दोनों का गेम है, लेकिन इसमें आपको अपनी क्वालिटी और स्किल को बढ़ाना पड़ेगा। बाज़ का ऐसा होता है, लेकिन देखें क्योंकि हम जब क्राउड आता है तो आउट होने होते हैं 10 और छक्के लगने होते हैं 25, तो इसलिए एंटरटेनमेंट छक्कों में ज़्यादा, बाउंड्रीज में ज़्यादा होती है।
Yunus Khan was playing the World Championship of Legends recently, and Nishit asked him about how difficult is it for a retired cricketer to come back and play Legends games.
जब आप वापस आते हो क्योंकि एक्सपेक्टेशन वैसे ही होती है। जब हम पहला मैच खेले तो हमें टारगेट मिला 190 का, तो एक्सपेक्टेशन यही है कि यूनुस खान आएंगे परफॉर्म करेंगे, शाहिद अफरीदी आएंगे परफॉर्म करेंगे, मिसबाह लगाएंगे परफॉर्म, कामरान अकमल आएंगे परफॉर्म करेंगे। तो जो एक्सपेक्टेशन है वो हमसे कम नहीं हो रही होती है। इसी तरह है, अगर आज रोहित शर्मा बेशक रिटायर हो जाएं, आज विराट कोहली बेशक रिटायर हो जाएं, लेकिन अगर वो 2-3 साल बाद दोबारा खेलेंगे तो एक्सपेक्टेशन वही होंगे। रोहित आएंगे, वो आके एंकर रोल करेंगे, छक्के भी मारेंगे, चौके भी मारेंगे, 100 भी करेंगे, 150 भी करेंगे और मैच को जिताएंगे भी। तो एक्सपेक्टेशन वहाँ होती है। मैं कहता हूँ एक्सपेक्टेशन बाजू का आपको प्रेशर डालती है, और फिर ये जो अभी हो रहा है इस बाजू का, कुछ प्लेयर जो है ना इनको इंजरीज हो रही हैं, उनको जो है ना वो निगल्स आ रहे हैं, तो मैं कहता हूँ यही वजह है।
Yunus Khan has represented Pakistan in all 3 formats of the game. He's excelled in each format. He has over 10,000 test runs behind him. He's got over 7,000 runs in ODIs, and he's also played 25 T20Is for Pakistan. So how does he see this transition from tests to T20Is? Listen in.
बहुत ज़बरदस्त है। देखें, इसमें कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है कि देखें अब तो हम T20 की बात कर रहे थे, अब हम इस वक्त T10 की बात कर रहे हैं। ये ट्रांजेक्शन बहुत अच्छी है, लेकिन मेरा ये अपने बॉलर्स को, अपने बैटर्स को और जो हमारे स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन हैं उनको मेरा ये ज़रूर मेरा मशवरा है, मेरा सजेशन होगी कि अपनी फिटनेस और अपना फोकस और अपने स्किल्स को ना छोड़ें। देखिए, अगर आपके पास अच्छे स्किल्स होंगे तो आप चाहे टेस्ट मैचेस खेल रहे हैं, चाहे आप वनडेज खेल रहे हैं, चाहे T20 खेल रहे हैं, चाहे T10 खेल रहे हैं, तो अगर आपके पास स्किल्स हैं, आपके बायोमैकेनिक्स जब आपने काम अच्छे हैं, तो आप सर्वाइव कर सकते हो और अच्छा लॉन्गर टर्म परफॉर्म कर सकते हो। मैं ख्याल से ट्रांजेक्शन बहुत अच्छी है, क्योंकि इसमें हम जैसे प्लेयर जो हैं जो रिटायर भी हो चुके हैं, या वो प्लेयर जो अपनी कंट्री के लिए नहीं खेलते, उनके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ मौजूद है। लेकिन इस ट्रांजेक्शन को जो आपने अडॉप्ट की है, उसको प्रॉपर करें तो मैं ख्याल से बहुत बेनिफिट है। एज ए बैटर देखिए, अगर मैं बात करूँ तो T20 हमें अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ दे रहे हैं, हमें फ्रीडम दे रहे हैं, हमें शॉट्स की फ्रीडम दे रहे हैं, हमें अपने स्किल्स को और इन्हांस करने की फ्रीडम दे रहे हैं, और हमें वो जो बाज़ वक़्त आपको लगता है कि आपने कुछ स्किल्स मौजूद है लेकिन आप उसको डिलीवर नहीं कर पा रहे होते, तो T20 एज ए बैटर आपको वो एक अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहा है, एक फ्रीडम दे रहा है। तो मेरे ख्याल से ये जो फ्रीडम है, ये फिर ही आपके स्किल्स ज़्यादा अच्छे निकलते हैं। और हमने देखा है कि वो टीमें या वो कोचेज़ या वो कंट्रियाँ बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें उनको बेनिफिट होता है जहाँ फ्रीडम होती है। तो मेरे ख्याल से T20 क्रिकेट आपको एज ए बैटर बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रीडम देती है।
The T20 World Cup games in New York were played on drop-in pitches, which didn't get good ratings from the ICC. What was his take on these pitches? Listen in.
मेरे ख्याल से देखिए, जो अभी न्यूयॉर्क में हुआ, मेरे ख्याल से वो एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे थे कि ऐसा कुछ होगा, क्योंकि हमने जहाँ हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया में ड्रॉप इन पिचेस पे खेला, हमने साउथ अफ्रीका में बाजू का ड्रॉप इन पिच में, इवन न्यूजीलैंड में खेला, तो बड़ी स्मूथ पिचेस होती हैं और उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा आपको बाउंस भी मिलता है, उसमें टर्न भी मिलता है और बैटर्स के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रीडम होती है। लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से वो कोई ये पॉइंट मिस कर गए, मेरे ख्याल से उसका कोई टाइम है, उसको टाइम फ्रेम को आपको देना पड़ता है, जो कि मिस कर गए। लेकिन ड्रॉप इन पिचेस मुझे लगता है कि पास्ट में भी होता रहा है, फ्यूचर में भी होता है, क्योंकि ये एक अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है। आपको जब न्यूयॉर्क में क्रिकेट खेलने को मिल रही है, तो और से आपको क्या चाहिए और बढ़ के क्या चाहिए। तो मेरे ख्याल से इसको प्रॉपर करें और प्रॉपर थोड़ा सा होगा तो बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल होगा।
And of course, he had to be asked about the great India-Pakistan rivalry. What are his memories about the friendship and the rivalry with India? This is what he said.
मैंने देखा, पास्ट में भी देखा, जब मैं इस द ग्रेट सुनील गावस्कर की दौर की बात करूं, कपिल देव की बात करूं, उनकी दौर की बात करूं, उस पर राहुल द्रविड़ की बात करूं, सचिन तेंदुलकर की बात, क्योंकि हम ज़्यादातर जब वो आते थे तो एक ही होटल में, एक ही रेस्टोरेंट में, एक ही स्विमिंग पूल में, एक ही जिम में बाजू का आमना सामना होता था। तो मुझे हमें तो कभी ऐसा फील हमने नहीं किया, क्योंकि ये जो रिस्पेक्ट है ना, रिस्पेक्ट का एलिमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा होना चाहिए। ठीक है, गेम में बाजू को जब आप कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे होते हो तो आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन होती है, लेकिन मुझे कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ। और मैं तो जब भी इंडिया के खिलाफ खेला, अल्लाह ने मुझसे परफॉर्मेंस की। इसी तरह जब इंडियन प्लेयर्स आए पाकिस्तान में, इरफान पठान है, यूसुफ पठान है, तो उन्होंने भी परफॉर्म किया। मेरे ख्याल से ये रिस्पेक्ट का एलिमेंट होना चाहिए। लेकिन मैं एक बात मैं यहाँ ज़रूर कोट करूँगा, जो टेंशन की बात कर रहे होते हैं, राइवलरी की बात कर रहे होते हैं, ये तब बढ़ रही होती है जब रेगुलर ये क्रिकेट नहीं होती। अब मैं ये समझता हूँ कि ये जो यंग प्लेयर्स हैं हमारे, उन पे थोड़ा सा प्रेशर ज़्यादा इसलिए होता है बाज़-औक़ात कि वो बार बार खेल नहीं। जब ये बार बार इस बायोलेटरल सीरीज़ होती रहेंगी तो ये काम डाम होंगे और फिर जो परफॉर्मेंसेस इनकी आती हैं और ज़्यादा आएंगी।
All right, we move on to football, and Portugal forward Cristiano Ronaldo has dismissed suggestions that he had considered ending his international career in the near future, adding that post-Euro criticism did not worry him. Portugal host Croatia in their Nations League opener on Thursday before welcoming Scotland in League A Group 1 on Sunday. In a news conference previewing the match, Ronaldo said he will keep having the mindset to be a starter for Portugal and his club until the end of his career. Ronaldo captained Portugal to success in the opening edition of the Nations League in 2018-2019, 3 years after they became European champions for the first time in France. And on Monday, he said Portugal will seek to reclaim the title. The 39-year-old appeared untroubled by the criticism that he's faced for failing to score at the 2024 European Championships, and said he would retire when he no longer is useful for his team.
That's all from the press. It never crossed my mind that my cycle with Portugal has come to an end. Quite the opposite. It gave me even more motivation to continue, to be honest. The motivation is to come to the national team to win the Nations League. It is the next competition. We are getting ready to win it. We've already won it once and we want to do it again. That is our motivation. I might say the same thing over and over again, but I don't think long term, it's always short term. When I'm no longer an asset, I will be the first to leave. But I will go with a clear conscience, as always, because I know who I am, what I can do, what I do, and what I will continue to do.
All right, then, let's talk about the US Open. Hard-hitting Belarusian Aryna Sabalenka reached her fourth straight US Open semi-final on Tuesday as she rolled past China's Zheng Qinwen 6-1, 6-2. Sabalenka beat Zheng to pick up her second Australian Open title earlier this year and used the same playbook at Arthur Ashe Stadium, where she dominated the 7th seed with her trademark mighty forehand. Fresh up winning the Olympic title, Zheng appeared drained and was missing one of the best weapons in her arsenal as she only made 44% of her first serves. Sabalenka got a head start when Zheng dropped her serve with an unforced backhand error in the second game, and the second seed went up another break when Zheng sent a forehand into the net in the sixth game. Sabalenka will next play American Emma Navarro. She beat the 13th seed Navarro in the fourth round at Roland Garros, but lost to her on the hard courts at Indian Wells earlier this year, and told fans that she expects a tough fight. And this is how Navarro reached the semi-final in the day's opening match. 13th seed Emma Navarro, she continued her meteoric rise to the top tier of tennis with a 6-2, 7-5 win over Spain's Paula Badosa in a battle of New York-born baseliners. Navarro, who beat defending champion Coco Gauff in the previous round, stunned a suddenly error-prone Badosa by winning 24 of the last 28 points of the match to wrap up victory in 72 minutes. On to men's singles. American Francis Tiafoe reached the US Open semi-final for the second time in 3 years after Bulgarian Grigor Dimitrov retired injured from their match while trailing 6-3, 6-7, 6-3, 4-1. Tiafoe will next meet the 12-seed Taylor Fritz in an all-American clash, with both players aiming to break a 21-year U.S. men's major drought in a tournament where many of the top contenders were eliminated early on. 9th seed Dimitrov, who had to retire with injury during his fourth-round tie against Daniil Medvedev at Wimbledon this year, left after the third set for medical treatment and slogged through a few games in pain, and his team urged him to retire. Tiafoe had a muted celebration and offered his opponent an embrace at the net, with the crowd already starting to shuffle out of Arthur Ashe Stadium. Well, that's it then on this edition of Game On. Hope you enjoyed it. For now, goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Singapore on September the 4th, marking his first visit in 6 years. Now, India and Singapore have strong political, economic, cultural and defence ties, but the connection runs deeper. PM Modi has an enormous sense of appreciation for Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore's founding Prime Minister, who died in 2015 at 91. So how has Lee Kuan Yew inspired PM Modi? But before we understand that, let's understand, why does PM Modi admire Lee Kuan Yew? News 9 Plus decodes. Both leaders met a few times when PM Modi was Gujarat's Chief Minister and Lee, the Minister Mentor of Singapore. In 2006, when the world had shut its doors to Modi, Lee had facilitated business linkages to Gujarat. How does Lee Kuan Yew inspire PM Modi? On the lines that Lee evolved a foreign policy that aided Singapore's economic growth, Modi has spearheaded India's external relations since becoming the Prime Minister in 2014. Modi's focus has been to achieve India's modernization through state-guided capitalism, just like Lee did with Singapore. Singapore is known for its efficient governance. It became a financial powerhouse under Lee's leadership. Modi's vision for India stands on the same principles. What is the Swachh Bharat mission connection between PM Modi and Yew? In 1968, the Keep Singapore Clean campaign was one of the country's first national campaigns as an independent nation. At the helm was Singapore's first PM, Lee Kuan Yew, who had picked up a broom to set an example by sweeping the street. Now cut to 2014. PM Modi launched the Swachh Bharat mission by picking up a broom and sweeping a street in a Delhi neighborhood. Full points for guessing who his inspiration was. What did Yew have to say about India? On how to get India's economy going? Lee would say, cut the red tape, support the private sector, reform labor laws, build infrastructure, and attract foreign capital. And then boost manufacturing. Lee believed India was capable of greatness. He always thought of India as a major Asian military power. With PM Modi drawing inspiration from Lee's work, India is undoubtedly on the path to transformation, just like Singapore was.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
The average lifespan of Indians is reducing. You and I are losing at least 3 years of our life just by breathing in polluted air. This is an observation made in the Air Quality Life Index report. So how is pollution reducing life expectancy of Indians? News 9 Plus decodes. The Air Quality Life Index report is published by University of Chicago's Energy Policy Institute. It analyzes how air pollution affects human life expectancy. The latest report has found that Indians may lose about 3.6 years of their life if India does not meet the World Health Organization's annual PM 2.5 standard. The WHO standard is 5 micrograms per cubic meter. In 2022, the particulate concentration in India was around 9 micrograms per cubic meter. More than 40% of India's population breathes in overpolluted air. But it is not all bad news. The report noted that particulate pollution in India in 2022 reduced by 19.3% as compared to 2021. This is the second highest reduction in the world after Bangladesh. Which regions in India saw major improvement? Purulia and Bankura districts of West Bengal, various districts of Jharkhand including Dhanbad, Bokaro, Paschim Singhbhum and Paschim Medinipur. A drop of over 20 micrograms per cubic meter was observed in these regions. Even the northern plains, which is India's most polluted region, saw a 17.2% decline in particulate levels. What were the reasons for this improvement? First, the National Clean Air Program that was launched in 2019. It is the first national effort that sets clean air targets for particulate reduction. NCAP covers 131 non-attainment cities which failed to meet the prescribed air quality standards before 2011 and 2015. According to the AQLI report, pollution in these cities has reduced by 18.8%. Another innovative policy was adopted by Gujarat. The state launched the world's first particulate pollution market, which incentivizes cleaner practices. The emission trading scheme aims to reduce air pollution by allowing industries to buy and sell permits for emitting particulate matter. This led to a 20 to 30% decline in particulate levels in Surat. The Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana and decrease in use of diesel in the transport segment also helped improve the particulate pollution levels.
And Muktiwani Yoda, who was aide to Sheikh Mujibur, came to my CEO. I told him that the family of Sheikh Mujibur is under captivity of the Pakistani forces. The first lady came with Sheikh Mujibur and she embraced me and said, the God, the Allah has sent you to save us. Modi ji and the Hasina, during talk, she brought out this point again that Major Ashok Tara of Indian Army said me, my mother, my sister, my brother, we got independence on 17 December because of Ashok Tara.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Welcome to News 9 Live and you are watching On Point with me. Before I introduce you to today's On Points, let's take a quick look at the headlines. Prime Minister Modi arrives in Singapore on a 2-day visit, aims to strengthen strategic ties under new leadership. Prime Minister Modi shows off his dhol skills as he receives warm welcome in Singapore. Rahul Gandhi kicks off the Congress campaign in Jammu and Kashmir and takes a fresh salvo at PM Modi says he's lost the confidence of people. Himachal Assembly passes new bill to stop pension of members disqualified under the anti-defection law. Political war of words over bulldozer action in Uttar Pradesh. Akhilesh Yadav hits back after CM Yogi Adityanath says SP leader lacks the guts to handle a bulldozer. Protests continue against the rape and murder of doctor at Ajika Hospital in Kolkata. Junior doctors call for lights out protests at 9 p.m. tonight. CBI books former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh over framing BJP leaders in false cases. Court blasts censor board, says Kangan Ranaut, even as Mumbai HC denies emergency urgent certification. Charge sheet filed against actor Darshan and 16 others in Renuka Swamy murder case. RGK's ex-principal Sandeep Ghosh moved Supreme Court against the High Court order dismissing his plea in the corruption case at the institute. Today, in On Point, we have a special guest, Chairman of the Peace Committee in Manipur, popularly known as Deepu Gangmai. He joins me from Manipur. Mr. Gangmai is an MLA from Nungpa Assembly seat, and he is also the chairman of the Hill Area Committee. He contested elections for the first time in 2022 after taking voluntary retirement from the Indian Administrative Service. Thank you very much, sir, for joining me on this show. And let me begin this conversation by asking you, since you also hold this important task of bringing peace, after the violence, how have the conversations been? Were you able to get in touch with those who had taken very strong vertical positions in Manipur from various ethnicities?
Yes. We are in touch. We are keeping in touch till now. We have been discussing that, yes, some unwanted things has happened. It's due to the misunderstanding and the opportunity taken by the anti-state, anti-peace elements who trying to break up Manipur. So what happened has happened. Now the only way out for all of us is to have collective responsibility to sit down together, to put our heads together and thrust out any grievances or any demand as per the Constitution of India.